Alright, what's up everyone? So today we are going to talk about what I have learned playing Noob in the last few months of playing him. So first I'm going to go over the fake shit, as I like to call it. And then I'm going to go over Noob's game plan and why a lot of people think he's not as good as he actually is. And then I'm going to go over some variation ideas. So first one is the fake shit. So if you play online, new players like to do stuff like 2-1-2 for auto shimmy. They like to do the 1-1-2 mind game, 1-1-3 or 1-1 slide mind game. They like to do like back one, back one throw. And then another one they like to do is like if you're in range, they'll do this. They'll do back one throw, knowing that you're gonna come forward. So all of this shit is either fake or extremely dangerous to do, and there's little to no reason to why you should be doing it as Noob. Let me add one more thing. The other thing is, like, you know, if they get hit, they'll mash down 4, down 3 after getting hit. That is those are all very, very bad ideas, and I'll explain why. First of all, this auto shimmy is fake offline. I practice against this auto shimmy all the time in practice mode. It's fake as fuck. It's so fake. It only works online, and even if you, let's say you did want to use that auto shimmy. Let's say you did want to use this. Why are you not walking people down when you do it? Like, if you down one and do this instantly, that's fake as fuck, man. That is so fake. It's such a fake string. As an auto shimmy, it only works online. Like, this is literally an online tactic. It might work, maybe, if you walk someone down. So if you do something like this and then do it, you might throw them off, making them think that they have to tech. If they don't do the tech OS. Because it looks like a throw, kind of, you know. So, like, if you're going to do it, at least walk people down. So at least there's some mind game behind it, you know what I mean? The 1-1-2, 1-1 slide, that is fake as hell. Like, you can not only can you react to this is literally reaction based shit, but you can fuzzy it. You just block low and then block high. So I don't know why new players are doing that too. That's all fake stuff. I guess they're trying to test my reactions. I don't know. What is real though is the 1-1-2 and 1-1-3 slide. The reason why 1-1-2 and 1-1-3 slide are real is because the 1-1-2 has a flawless block gap, so if you're trying to flawless block within that gap, if someone does 1-1-3, you'll get hit by the 3 and then the slide. So that is an option. That is a better option in my opinion, 1-1-3 slide and 1-1-2. 1-1 slide is not real at all, and 1-1-2 is not real. I mean, I guess you can still use it because it's safe. You know, at least it's safe. So it's not like, even if you're not frauding someone out to where you're taking a risk. So you can argue that, like, you know, as long as the person can't fuzzy it, like it's something to do, but I just don't think it should be a main game plan. Alright, so now we're going to talk about, because I think those are all the fake stuff, and then, you know, obviously mashing on hit. You should never mash on hit. If you get hit, you need to block. Wait for the shimmy, and once the shimmy is passed around 2 seconds, then you can press a button. You know, you don't have to wait for someone to finally throw you all the time. So those are the things that are fake about Noob. So here's some real shit about Noob that makes Noob really good. So as you see, I have Jackie on the screen. So the problem that Noob players usually face is that you hear this all the time. Noob is all highs. Noob doesn't have a good mid. Blah, blah, blah. All that bullshit. Well, first of all, there's a lot of mind games behind Noob's counter poking abilities. So the first thing you need to know is that Sickle, down 4, pushes them back. Down 3 actually pushes them back the same range, but the difference between Sickle and down 3 is Sickle has no hitbox. So throwing this out and then throwing out a quick high will actually throw people off, because even though it's -7, it pushes them away, so it gives you a chance to hit them with forward 2. I think down 3 in some situations is actually better because down 3 is -5, but Sickle is good because it has no hitbox pretty much. So all of his pokes, except for down 1, push your opponent away, right? So already Noob is at some sort of advantage just doing a poke because at least he pushes his opponent away when he does it. So if someone is pressuring him, let's say Jackie's pressuring with forward 1-2, this pushes Jackie away regardless. Like you see there, she blocked, right? But it pushes her away even if it was blocked. I mean, she got hit, but when she, when she gets hit, like it's the same thing. She pushes her away. So clearly, Noob's counter poking strategies are supposed to be down 3, down 4. Now, a lot of people will say, well, they'll just block my down 3, down 4, dash up, and do their string. Yes, they can do that. But the thing is, Noob has mind games like down 4, slide, right? And yes, you can jump down 4, slide. You can jump it. But now, when they jump, you just don't do slide. And you'll be able to anti-air them. But if they try to counter poke, they'll get hit. So the whole point I'm trying to make here is that Noob is a poke special character. He uses pokes and specials to get out of the constant pressure in his face, because his favorable position is where we're standing right now. Right here is where he wants to be, right? As you see, forward 2-2 and to slide puts them in that range where you can move around freely, right? So clearly you want your pokes to keep them away, and when they keep mashing or dashing up after you do down 4, you do down 4 slide, right? Now we're going to talk about the back 1, because the back 1 is actually the more kind of special property, I guess. Back 1 is good because against characters that have really fast mids, like 9-frame mids, you're going to be forced to poke back, right? Like you can't use a slide, or you can't use 1-1 or 2-1 or forward 2, because most of the time those characters are going to mash down 1. Like Jackie is a great example. If she does a slightly minus string, she's going to mash down 1, because if you don't poke back, you're going to get hit with the down 1, and she's going to keep her pressure. So clearly, Noob doing down 3, down 4, slide is not going to last as long unless he had some other mind game. And Noob in this case does have another mind game. It's his back 1. So his back 1, what makes his back 1 special is that it provides pushback off of slide. Now normally, against a character like Katana, Scorpion, Sub-Zero to an extent, Fujin, this doesn't really matter because he's still -8, which means they can advance with a normal or a special move and force Noob to guess. But Jackie is special because even if Noob does back 1 slide, he actually outspaces her, right? Because now, Jackie has to dash up to do forward 3, which means Noob can mash or walk back, right? So this actually puts it back in his favor because she's forced to do dash punch or jump or whatever. She's forced to take a risk. So against characters with fast mids, generally you'll be able to outspace them, and their advancing mid won't reach you because they have 9-frame normals. 9-frame normals generally means the character is not going to have a very far reach. Now there are some exceptions to these. So for example, Liu Kang can do dash forward 4 because even though it's 11-frame mid, Noob won't have enough time to mash it down 1 or backdash. In this particular case, Noob is forced to do pokes as a counter poke. So you'd have to do poke into slide or something like that, because if you do this, like your turn is still over, against Liu Kang, your turn is still over. He can dash forward for you and you'll get hit. Because of your dash speed's not very good. But against a character like Jackie, it will work. She won't be able to do that, and you'll get your spacing. So, and if you're in the corner, back 1 slides, it's not gonna outspace them. They're still gonna be able to hit you. Like Jackie won't be pushed so far back. You'll be in the corner, so it won't push her so far back, and she'll be able to do a forward 3 again. So that's the mind game behind Noob. Eventually, they will block. They'll realize that you're going to hit them, and you're going to at least get because let's say you hit them, right? If you hit them, they go full screen, so Noob doesn't care. The Noob just wants them off of him. It's the same concept of down 4 low fan. You just want them off of you. So if you hit them, you get them off of you, that's great. If you don't hit them and you're playing against Jackie, that's great because you've got space, right? But normally, like, okay, so normally if you're doing like this, or you're doing like back one slide, stuff like that, eventually the player is going to block. So let's say, you know, if Jackie starts blocking, this is the mind game. Jackie starts blocking and not doing a down one, you do forward two, and if she doesn't get hit, you use that to space her out. Or you could just do this, this really, because it's -6, she might be waiting for the slide and just back away. So, because the Noob's best string is forward two. This is a combo hunter. It's kind of dumb how good this string is. This string's pretty good too, but it has a gap. That's the only problem. And obviously if you go, like I said, if you go into slide, you know, not only does this not space out as much, but you're -8, so that's not very favorable. But this, you're -8 and you're much further away, so you can go back to your slide mind games. So basically, 4-2-2 is the string you want to finally, like, once you've conditioned them well, you want to be able to hunt combos with 4-2-2, because literally your opponent can't do anything. You know, like, once you do this, the only option Jackie has is dash punch. And the only option a lot of characters have is an advancing special. Or in Kotal's case, he has forward 2, but you can down 3. Your down 3 will beat his forward 2, so basically 4-2-2 is really, really good, and that's what you should be hunting for once you get pressured and they're conditioned to finally block your back one slide or your down one. Like, back one slide alone is a mind game, right? Because if Lu ends in something and then you do 4-2-2 slide, because he wants to block your back one slide so he can get his turn back. If you do 4-2-2 slide, now you're back in the optimal range. See the guessing game here? The guessing game is, if the Lu player expects your back one, you do 4-2-2 slide. Now he's out of range. If you expect him to mash, you do back one slide. Now he gets hit and he goes full screen, and now he's out of range of his forward 4 again. So that's the mind game. And that's what makes this an argument for snag, because I think I talked about this last time. There's an argument to have a snag or a snag only build, because you might lose out on the 7-frame high damaging punish, but the difference is now your hunting combo doesn't just do 245. Instead, it's going to do a full, it's going to do a full combo. And if you have both launchers on, it's going to do a lot of damage. Oops. So as you see there, like, now his best string, this is literally his best string. You cannot whiff punish this string, and it pushes them far back to where they put you back in the range you want to be in as a zoner or mid-screen zoner. And that's why this string is so good, and you can argue that it would be okay to run snag and not air telly, or run them both and not run ghost ball. There's an argument there, because having a string that literally can't be whiff punish, a string that's used as a whiff punish, and a string that you can hunt combos for and then just make safe like Kotal's forward 2 is worth it, in my opinion. So those are the things. I think those are the big things I wanted to talk about when it comes to Noob. I think Noob is strong. I think Noob is just, hate to say this, but I think he's just played incorrectly. I think that there's a lot of things that players can do to make this character really, really shine. One being what I told you about that 4-2 and that back one mind game. Once you get that in your opponent's head, Noob is allowed to play where he wants to play, and your opponent is put in a position where they have to take a little bit more of a risk, or they're going to be outzoned the whole game. You know, if you keep like a Liu Kang player at this length the whole game, it's going to be really, really hard for Liu to get in. And he doesn't have good jump in, so he's getting anti-aired for like a lot of damage. Same thing with Jackie. Like, if I've done this before. You keep Jackie out of this range, and then she's forced to do the jump mind games. I don't know, man. Like, if you can play the war of attrition with Noob Saibot against Jackie, you will do really well against her, because even though it only takes one time for her to get in, if she never gets in, or if she gets in and she doesn't capitalize, Noob can really keep her out and play a strong keep out game against her. And before people say that she's got the goop doesn't really matter because Ghost Ball beats goop anyway. So that's not a thing. But yeah, so Noob is a pretty good pick for characters like Jackie, Liu Kang, Sub-Zero to an extent. Characters that really have to work their way in, and then once they finally work their way in, if you can use this string to keep them away from you and force them to work their way in again, you can do really well. Final thing I wanted to mention, I was supposed to mention earlier, is this string. This string is actually very good as a whiff punishing string. So, you know, let's say you space her out with 4-2-2. You can actually use this as a whiff punishing string. I think this is the great time to use it, but using it randomly in the neutral is not a good idea, and I'll show you why. Say Noob does this. See the recovery? Yeah, don't do that. New players, stop that. Like, it's not a good string to just kind of throw out unless you're doing it on a read. But it's a good whiff punishing string. You can definitely, because it's fast, you can definitely argue that it could be used as a good whiff punishing string. I'm not denying that, honestly. Same thing like forward 2, you know, it was a very good whiff punishing string. Remember to hold down so you don't accidentally get back forward 2. And you can, oops. What am I doing? Why is it not coming out? There we go. So it's a very good whiff punishing string. And then, you know, obviously back 3 is on a read. So anyway, that's all I want to talk about. Have fun playing MK11. Hope you enjoyed this kind of mini Noob guide. Figured I would share this because Noob is really, I think he's slept on as hell. Holy shit is he slept on. I think he does very well against characters like Jackie, Liu Kang, Fujin to an extent. Yeah, he's a pretty good character. You don't need mids to play the game. Noob has a decent mid anyway. So I'll see you guys later. Have fun playing MK11 and fighting games.